The alien mothers offering a quiet corner of the galaxy. There was a planet called Velcaron. It was dark, cold, and full of secrets. War had ended 5 years ago, but the wounds were still fresh. Many species lived there now, traders, criminals, mercenaries, and lost souls. John Carter, a human mercenary, sat alone in a dusty bar. He was not a hero. Not anymore. He had once fought for Earth, but now, he only fought for money. His eyes were tired, his beard unshaved, and his weapon was always close. He took a slow sip of his drink. The bar was full of strange faces. Aliens, with 6 arms, others with glowing skin. But John didn't care. He was waiting. Or maybe he was just trying to forget. Then, the bar door opened. Everyone looked. A tall, beautiful alien woman walked in. Her skin was silver and smooth, like moonlight. Her eyes glowed soft blue. She moved like water, calm, slow, powerful. She wore a long black cloak, and her face was full of sadness. She walked straight to John's table and sat down without asking. John looked at her, surprised. "You're not from here," he said. She nodded. "No, but I need someone who is." "Go on," John said, watching her carefully. "My name is Sarah," she said. "And I need your help, human." John raised one eyebrow. "Everyone needs something. What's your story?" Sarah placed a small, glowing cube on the table. It opened a hologram. A young girl appeared, maybe 8 years old. She had silver hair like her mother, but her eyes were different. They were bright green. "This is my daughter," Sarah said. "Her name is Leary. She is missing. I want you to find her." John stared at the image. The girl looked innocent, fragile, but something about her felt different. "Why me?" John asked. "There are many bounty hunters in this galaxy." Sarah looked into his eyes. "Because you are human. You see things others do not. You fight, even when there is no hope." John gave a small smile. "That sounds like a storybook." Sarah leaned closer. "And I will pay you with more than credits." John narrowed his eyes. "Meaning?" She paused, then spoke softly. "My body, my loyalty. Whatever you desire, just bring my daughter back." The words hung in the air. Even in this dirty bar, everyone felt the tension. John leaned back, thinking he had taken many jobs in the past, but this something felt wrong. Too emotional, too desperate. Before he could answer, the bar door opened again. An old alien stumbled inside. His body was burned, weak, dying. He looked around the room with wide eyes. Then he saw the hologram of the girl. "No," the alien whispered. "Not her, she must never return." He coughed hard, blood falling from his mouth. Everyone stared. He pointed at Sarah with a shaking hand. You lie," he shouted. "She is not your daughter. She is the key to the alien." Fell to the floor. Dead. Silence. John stood slowly, his hand on his weapon. Sarah looked calm. Too calm. "Do you know him?" John asked. Sarah shook her head. "A madman, do not listen." "But he knew your daughter's face," John said. "She is well known. She is special," Sarah said. John stared at her. He couldn't read her face. Was she telling the truth? He picked up the glowing cube and looked at the girl's image again. "What's so special about her?" he asked. "She is my child," Sarah said, "and I will do anything to bring her home." John nodded slowly. He didn't trust her, but he couldn't walk away either. Something inside him, something deep and human, wanted to know the truth. "All right," he said. "I'll find her." Sarah smiled. "Thank you, human." "But," John added, "I don't take promises lightly. If you're lying, I'll know." Sarah's eyes flashed. "I never lie, but others will. Be careful." John left the bar with the cube in his pocket. The stars above Velcaron were cold and distant. Somewhere in the galaxy, a little girl was waiting or hiding, and someone didn't want her found. But John Carter had made a choice. He would find the truth, even if it killed him 2 days later. A dead world called Urix wind. On Urix didn't sink, it screamed. Sharp dust flew across dead rocks, and the sky above was forever gray. It was a planet that had seen war and lost. Now, only silence lived here, but today, a human walked its surface. John Carter stepped through the ruins of an old alien outpost. His helmet kept the poison air out, but it couldn't keep the memories away. He had been to planets like this before, forgotten, cursed, and always hiding secrets. He tapped the cube Sarah had given him. A green light blinked. This was the last location, he muttered. Her signal came from here. He moved carefully through the broken walls. Pieces of machines and bones lay scattered. This place had once belonged to a research team aliens who worked for a powerful empire. Now it was empty, but not dead. John heard a soft beep from his scanner, a heat signature, very small, still warm. He raised his weapon and walked slowly toward the source. Behind a half-buried console, he found a datapad. It was old and cracked, but it still worked. John tapped it. The screen blinked. A message began to play, shaky and low quality, but clear enough. A girl's voice. "My name is Leary. I don't know who to trust anymore. If you're watching this, please don't bring me back." John froze. "They say my mother is looking for me," the voice continued. "But she's not my mother. She's something else. I remember now. I saw her real face once. Static. I'm hiding. And I'm changing. Please, don't find me." The message ended. John stared at the screen. This was no normal rescue. The girl didn't want to be found. She was afraid, maybe even dangerous. But why? What was she changing into? Suddenly, a clicking sound echoed behind him. John turned fast and fell backward as a metal spider drone jumped from the ceiling. Its red eyes glowed, and its sharp legs moved fast. A trap. John rolled, fired, and blew its head off with one shot. More skittering. 3 more drones came from the shadows. "Of course," he muttered. "She left bait." John ran into the hallway, firing as he moved. The drones were fast, climbing the walls like insects, but John was faster. He threw a small EMP charge, and a blast of blue light knocked 2 of them out. The last one jumped at him, but he caught it mid-air and smashed it into the ground. Silence returned. John stood, breathing hard. His armor was scratched, but he was alive. He looked at the datapad again. She didn't want help. She had set a trap. That meant she had been trained, or warned. Maybe both. He sent a signal to his ship. "Leary is alive," he said. "But she doesn't want to be found." "Next step?" the ship's AI asked. John looked at the stars above through the broken roof. "I need answers," he said. "Not from the girl. From the mother." Later that night, on board John's ship, John sat in his dim cabin. The hologram of the girl, glowing in front of him. "She is not your daughter. She is the key. She must never return." The dying alien's words echoed in his mind. John didn't believe in magic or prophecy. He believed in war, lies, and survival. But this girl, she was different. He opened a secret file from Earth's military database. It was encrypted, hidden. Old Dot, the name he searched for, came up in one file. Project Ed. Subject: human-alien hybrid status, terminated. Escape location, unknown. John leaned back. "You're not just a missing child," he said. "You're a secret. Someone tried to erase." But the real question was, who brought her into this world? And why? And then, a message pinged on his screen. Unknown sender. No location. A voice message. A whisper. "She's becoming something. Not even we understand. And once she remembers what she is, we all die." John's eyes narrowed. It was no longer a rescue. It was a race. 3 hours before sunrise. Edge of a dying star system. There are places in the galaxy that even maps forget. Floating in the shadows of a red, collapsing star was one such place, a broken asteroid, split in half, chained together by black metal bridges and old science. It had no name, no signal. But John Carter had found it. And what was hidden inside didn't want to be found. His ship hovered in silence above the cracked surface. The structure embedded in the rock looked abandoned, cold, haunted. "AI, scan it again," John said, staring at the screen. "No life signs, no power," the voice replied. "It's dead." But John didn't believe in dead things. Not anymore. Inside the lab, he walked through a long metal hallway. His boots echoed with each step. The walls were covered in frost, and strange symbols were carved into the floor. Some were human, some were not. "This place is older than the war," John whispered. Lights flickered above him. A low hum filled the air. And then, a door opened. By itself, he raised his weapon and stepped inside. The room was large, round, and full of empty glass tank tubes, made to hold living things. But they were all broken, cracked from the inside. One had long claw marks on the glass. John moved carefully. On the far side of the room was a single working screen, glowing dim blue. He touched it. The screen showed video logs, human scientists talking, testing, whispering, and in the background, always the same little girl. Leary, younger, smaller, but alive. One of the scientists looked nervous. Day 76. Subject L is showing signs of change. Her DNA is rewriting faster than expected. She speaks in alien tongues. During sleep, She's becoming something else. The video, glitched. Another log. Day 102. She melted the floor. Literally, just by touching it. We tried to sedate her. It didn't work. She saw our thoughts. I think she knows what we are. Another log. Day 127. She disappeared from her cell. Through the walls. Project Edinburgh is not a child. It's a weapon. John stepped back. She escaped from here, he muttered. She didn't run. She evolved. A sudden sound. Footsteps. John turned quickly. Gun raised. But there was nothing there. Then a whisper. Soft. Almost like a child. Why did you come here? The voice wasn't in the room. It was in his head. You're not her, John said calmly. But you're close. The lights flickered again. A shadow moved across the glass. And then, he saw it. A message, freshly carved on the wall, with sharp fingers. I don't want to hurt you, but I will, if she finds me first. John touched the words. Blood. Not paint. Back outside. On board the ship. John sat down, breathing hard. Sarah had lied. This was never about a missing daughter. It was about control. About who could find the girl first, before she became something unstoppable. He opened the communication channel. Sarah, he said, we need to talk. Now. Her voice answered. Calm, as always. Did you find her? No. I found your old lab. The one where you experimented on her. Silence. She was never your daughter, was she? John asked. She is mine, Sarah said coldly. Because I made her. John's heart froze. Why? What is she? Sarah replied softly. She is the next step. A bridge between species. Between gods and men. And she was supposed to love me. But she ran, John said. She saw the truth. Yes, Sarah whispered. And that's why she must be brought back. Or destroyed. The signal ended. John stared at the stars. He wasn't just chasing a girl now. He was hunting a new life form, half human, half unknown. And she didn't want to be found. Or maybe she was setting a trap for both of them. Some secrets don't stay buried, especially the human ones. The stars looked peaceful from space, cold, bright, and quiet. But inside John Carter's mind, everything was loud. He sat alone in his ship, staring at an old military file he wasn't supposed to have. Its title blinked across the screen like a curse. Project Edinburgh, Hybrid Experiment. John didn't blink. His hands clenched. This wasn't just an alien secret. This began on Earth 20 years ago. A forgotten Earth lab flashback. The video file opened with static. 3 people stood in a white lab. 2 men, 1 woman, all wearing Earth uniforms. Behind them, a small glass pod glowed with life. Inside was a baby, silver-haired, with glowing green eyes. She wasn't crying, she was watching. The woman scientist whispered, "This child is not born. She's built. Earth DNA. Alien tech. She's not a soldier. She's a signal. A message to the stars." The man next to her didn't agree. "You're playing God," he said. "If this leaks, it's war." The woman turned to the camera. "Her name will be Leary. We'll raise her, train her, control her." The video paused. John leaned back in his seat. The voice of that woman. It sounded familiar. Too familiar. He opened another file. Project Supervisor, Dr. Selena Carter. John's heart stopped. His mother, present-day John's ship, mid-fleet, paced the control room. His own blood was boiling. He thought he had escaped his past. Thought war had taken everything already. But now he knew. The girl wasn't just connected to him. She might be family. He stared at her image again. The silver hair, the eyes. "Leary's not just half alien," John whispered. "She's half me." Incoming transmission from a ghost. Suddenly, the ship's alarms flashed. A signal was coming from a dead sector. No origin. No ID. John hesitated, then opened the channel. The screen flickered. A face appeared. Young, tired, shaking. It was Leary, but older than before. Maybe 15. Maybe more. She looked directly at him. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone," she said softly. "But I had to leave." John couldn't speak. "You were there when I was born," she continued. "You don't remember. But I do. I remember your voice. You held me once. Before they took me away." Her voice cracked. "I'm not a monster. But if they keep chasing me, I'll become one." Static. The signal ended. John sat in silence. He had questions. He had fear. But now he had something stronger, a reason. Meanwhile, on the planet Draxasin, a dark temple, built under the surface of a red jungle, Sarah stood before a group of armored aliens. Their faces were hidden, but their eyes glowed with hatred. The human is getting closer, one hissed. Sarah nodded. He found the lab. He knows the girl's blood is part human. Then he must be erased, another said. Sarah didn't move. He won't stop. He still thinks he can save her, can he? A third voice asked. She didn't answer, but her fingers tightened around a small device in her hand. A tracker, linked to Leary's DNA. She smiled. He doesn't know it, but she's already coming to him. Back in space, John's final realization. John stood at the front of his ship, stars racing past the glass. He had chased missing girls before, saved refugees, captured criminals. But this was different. This time, he was chasing the truth, and it was chasing him back. He opened a private message channel and recorded a voice note. To anyone who finds this, my name is John Carter. I'm a mercenary, a soldier, and maybe a father. The girl they want is not a weapon. She's a question, and maybe an answer. He ended the recording, and as he did, an alert beeped on his ship. Unidentified ship approaching. Single life form on board. John looked out. A small escape pod drifted through the stars. No weapons, no signal, just waiting. He whispered to himself. Leary, sometimes, the most hunted one, doesn't run. The escape pod didn't move. It floated, just outside John's ship, silent and cold, like a coffin waiting to be opened. John Carter stood in the airlock, weapon ready, heart pounding not from fear, but from something worse, uncertainty. The girl inside might be the key to peace, or the beginning of something terrible. He pressed the override switch. The pod hissed. Cold mist rolled out. Lights blinked. Then she stepped out. Liri. Older now, maybe 15. Her silver hair was tied back. Her skin glowed faintly in the dim light. Not human, not alien. Something in between. Something ... becoming. She looked at him, not scared, not surprised, just calm. You found me, she said softly. John lowered his gun. You came to me, because I had no choice. She stepped forward, slow and quiet, like someone used to being followed. Inside the ship, quiet before the storm, John gave her water, food, and silence. He didn't ask questions. Not yet. Leary sat by the window, staring at the stars. Her voice, when it came, was soft but sharp. You think you're saving me, but they're not chasing me anymore. John looked at her. Then who? She turned. Her head grew suddenly. Alarms screamed. Multiple ships inbound. No warning. No signals. Just red lights and speed. Sarah had found them, and she wasn't alone. 3 black alien vessels appeared like ghosts, silent, sharp, alive. Sarah's voice came through the comms, cold and full of fury. John, returned the girl. Now you have no idea what you're holding. He turned off the channel. Strap in, he told Leary. We're running. She didn't move. It won't matter, she said. They've marked you. You're part of it now. The chase begins. Across the asteroid field, John's ship dove between shattered moons and floating rocks. Enemy fire sliced the darkness. Explosions lit the void. But John was fast and angry. You made her, he muttered under his breath. Then you hunted her. And now you want her back. He pulled the ship hard left. One of the alien fighters slammed into a rock, exploding. Leary watched with calm eyes. You're good at killing, she said. John grunted. You don't know the half of it. But they weren't alone. Not anymore. As they passed the last asteroid, another ship appeared. Human military. Earth fleet. This is Commander Voss of Earth Defense. John Carter, shut down your ship. You're carrying a classy entity. A global threat. John stared. Now they care, he muttered. After they built her and dumped her into space. He opened the channel. Not happening, Commander, John said. You want her. Come take her. Suddenly, Leary screamed. But it wasn't pain, it was psychic. A wave of energy hit the ship. Lights flickered. Systems froze. John fell to one knee. His mind was full of noise, voices, images, pain. He saw her memories, needles, wires, isolation tanks, screaming scientists, Sarah smiling like a mother, whispering lies, then silence. John gasped. Liri stood in front of him, her eyes glowing bright green. I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't mean to hurt you, but you needed to see it. He looked at her, breathing hard. What are you, Leary? She looked out the window as Earth and alien ships danced in war behind them. I was made from war, she said. But I don't want to end like it. Then why come to me? John asked. She finally looked him in the eye. Because ... You're the only one who didn't try to own me. One choice left. One shot. At escape. John rerouted power to the hyperdrive. 2 alien ships, locked on Earth fleet charged weapons. Leary stepped beside him. I can get us out, she said. But I have to take you with me. In here, she touched his forehead. A flash. Stars bent. And suddenly, they were gone. Silence. Somewhere unknown. The ship floated in a dead part of space. No signals. No stars. Just quiet. John fell back into the pilot's seat, shaking. Where the hell are we? Leary sat beside him, pale, quiet. A place outside of their reach. For now, John looked at her, then at the stars. He wasn't sure anymore. Who was hunting who? But one thing was clear, this wasn't the end. This was the middle. Not all gods are born. Some are made, and then abandoned. It was quiet now. Too quiet. John Carter stood at the edge of the observation deck, staring into a place that didn't exist on any map. No stars. No light. No time. Only black. The girl Leary was, sitting cross-legged behind him, silent, glowing faintly like a candle in the dark. They had escaped warships, survived traps, outrun hunters. But here, in this place beyond the galaxy, there was no escape, only the truth. Where are we, really? John asked without turning. Leary's voice was soft. You call it the void. But for me, this was home. He turned. What do you mean? She looked up, and for the first time, she wasn't just a child. She was something else. Before I was made, she said, something found your scientists. Something old. Something broken. It whispered to them through space. Promised knowledge. Evolution. And they listened. John felt cold. Project Edenborn. Leary nodded. They thought they were building a hybrid. A bridge between species. But what they really did was open a door. Flashback. Earth Lab. Final days. The logs were hidden. But John found them. Test subject L shows unpredictable neural spikes. She speaks in a dead alien language. We believe she's connecting to something. She doesn't sleep. She doesn't age. She talks to the black. Like it talks back. One scientist disappeared during a scan. He melted. Her heartbeat didn't even change. We are ending Project Edenborn. Immediately. But it was too late. Present. John's ship. Inside the void. They made you with human DNA, John whispered. But something else got inside. It didn't just get inside, Leary said. It woke up. She stood, walked to the control panel, and placed a hand on it. The screen lit up with symbols John didn't recognize. Not Earth, not alien. Older. This is the real reason they hunted me, she said. Not because I'm dangerous, but because I remember. And if I evolve fully, I'll never be controlled again. John watched her. So what are you now? He asked. A girl. A god. Leary smiled faintly. I think I'm both, and neither. Suddenly the ship shakes. Pulse of energy slammed through the hull. Alarms blared. The void was no longer empty. Something was coming. Something big. John grabbed the controls. What is that? Leary closed her eyes. The thing that spoke to them. When they built me, it followed us. The stars rippled open. A shape appeared. Not a ship. Not a creature. A presence. Shifting. Changing. Endless. It spoke. Not with sound, but into their minds. Return her. She belongs to the darkness. John gritted his teeth. Like hell. But the pressure in the ship grew. Panels cracked. Systems failed. It was like the void itself was trying to tear the ship apart. Leary floated upward, weightless, glowing. You need to leave, she told John. I'm not leaving you. If you stay, you die. And I don't want to kill the only human who didn't try to use me. She placed her hand on his chest. I'll seal this place behind me. But when I do, no one can come back. Not you. Not them. John looked at her, heart heavy. You don't have to do this alone. She smiled, tired, kind. I was born alone. But maybe I won't die that way. A pulse of green light burst from her body. Moments later, back in real space, John woke up in his pilot seat. His ship was floating above a blue planet. He looked around. No LIRI. No void, only silence. His hand was shaking. In it was a small device. Black cube. Pulsing softly. A single message inside. Thank you for being the one who chose me. Not for what I was, but for who I could be. John stared at the stars. He didn't know if she was alive, but he knew the truth. Now they didn't make a weapon. They made a mirror. And what stared back was more human than they ever expected. Space is silent. But grief is louder than any war. John Carter didn't speak for 3 days. He floated above an unnamed planet, staring at the black cube Leary left behind. It was still warm, almost alive. Like it was waiting for him to choose. He didn't sleep, didn't eat, he just remembered. He remembered her eyes. Not the glowing part. The real part. The part that looked at him like he wasn't a weapon, like he wasn't just a man covered in blood and regrets. He remembered the moment she chose to protect him, even when she could have destroyed everything. And he remembered her last words. Thank you for not trying to own me. Now the galaxy waited. The Earth military had gone silent. Sarah's ships had vanished into the dark. The war for Leary had ended, but not because someone won, because someone left. And that someone had been just a girl. John finally spoke. To the cube. She wasn't the danger. You were the cube. Pulsed. A small crack opened on its surface. A message played. But this time, it wasn't Leary's voice. It was his mother, Dr. Selena Carter. If you're hearing this, John, then she trusted you. Leary was never meant to be controlled. She was a question no one wanted answered. The future, wrapped in a child's body. We feared her. We caged her. And she still chose mercy. Please, make a better choice than we did. The message ended. John closed his eyes. Suddenly, an incoming signal. Encrypted. Earth Fleet Code. Direct. John hesitated. Then accepted. Commander. Voss appeared on screen. Gray hair. Sharp eyes. Tired face. Carter, we detected a surge near Sector 91. We believe it was her. We need that cube. John leaned back. Why? You want to try again? Build a better cage. Voss sighed. She's not gone, is she? John didn't answer. This galaxy isn't ready for her, Voss said. You know it. Then maybe, John said slowly, we're the problem. He ended the call. One planet. One place left. John flew to the same planet, where he woke up after the void. It had no cities, no signals, no names, but deep in its forest, something strange lived. Light, that shouldn't exist, Tresad whispered. Air that healed. And in the center, a girl, sitting by a small fire. Liri. Alive. But different. Older. Stronger. She didn't turn. When he landed, she just said, I knew you'd find me. He sat beside her, silent for a long time. Then, finally, you're changing. She nodded. Every second. Are you still? You? She smiled. I'm me because you reminded me who I was. Not what I was made for. They want the cube, he said. She handed it to him. Then give it to them. John looked shocked. What? Let them try again, she said. Let them build more. Maybe. One of them will choose love instead of fear. You really believe that? You did, she said softly. And it saved me. John held the cube tight and made his choice. 1 week later, Earth Command broadcast a video played across human space. It showed Leary, not as a monster, but as a child, walking, laughing, learning. No threats, no warnings, just truth. John's voice narrated it. We feared what we didn't understand. But sometimes, the future looks like a child. And maybe, this time, we listen. Somewhere quiet, years later, his school of children ran through a field under twin suns. Among them, one girl walked slowly, silver hair, green eyes, watching the sky. Waiting. John sat on a bench nearby, older now, quieter, but at peace. Leary turned to him. Do you ever think they'll come back for me? He smiled. They already did. And you chose not to become what they feared. She nodded. So what now? John looked up. Now. We let the galaxy grow.